the air scrubber.
Oh, I know I bitch about this almost every weekend, but I've got to get a new chair out here. Good God. Try to turn that one a little too close, I think. Yeah, melt these off real quick, then I'll get started. All right. Hey, what's up, people? Welcome to Friday or Sunday finishing work. It's Sunday, right? Oh God. Fucking early. My brain is not braining. Got some hickory pocket UR. We're gonna cord these up first, and then we've got some assassin style Cameroon daggers we're gonna cord wrap the handles on. I've got a Maori Ipe dagger we're gonna cord wrap. I've got a big old vampire stake we're gonna cord wrap. Got a set of Nightwing escrima sticks. We're gonna wrap the ends of those, and that's all my wrapping for the day. But I think after that, I've got some painting I've got to do. I might take you guys along for that this morning. Probably going to be a long live stream today. I've got a lot of work to get done. And then I get to go home, and I've got even more work to do. It's good times. My weekends are so relaxing. I feel like my weekends, I don't work. I don't get much weekend. I get my Saturdays for the most part. That's about it. Other than that, I'm working most of my weekends. Hey, what's up, Outdoor Cam? Welcome. What are you up to this morning? There we go. One more. I have made palm sticks, these pocket UR palm sticks, out of just about everything. I've never made them out of hickory, and they didn't come out too bad. I do kind of like them out of hickory. I couldn't decide what color to go with for the cords, so I just decided black was probably best. It's funny though, it seems like black, I feel like black's very simple, but a lot of people seem to prefer the black cords on the Uwara. I've actually had some people, they'll order one and ask me if I can switch the cording out for a black cord. So I'm trying to use more of my black cord for the Uwara. That was too short. Oh, come on. And I always leave a lot of extra so that way when it goes to the client, they can adjust it to their own hand and cut everything. There we go. Pocket you are done. Now we gotta do these Kumru daggers. We can put these over here in the finished area. Now these are, I've already made a few of these daggers out of Kumru wood. I did a basic double-edged dagger style. I've done a Tonto, and then this week I went with the Assassin, Hassansin or Hashishin style dagger. Kumru wood, I know these look very thin. These are wood daggers. They are stabby though, so be careful with them. These are made of Kumru wood, which is why they can be this thin, because Kumru is extremely strong stuff. It's got a Jenka hardness in the 3200 to 3700 range. If you've been on my channel before, you've heard me sing the praises of Kumru wood if you come to my lives, because this stuff's amazing. I got lucky this year and lucked into a bunch of it. I reclaim a lot of wood for my shop, and this was part of it. And man, this stuff is amazing. I'm gonna be sad when I've used all of it, because it's way too expensive for me to buy more. So if you want any of this Kumru wood stuff that's up on the shop, I recommend buying it while you can, because I probably, by the end of this year, I'll be running out of it. And I've made bowkin out of it. I've made daggers. I've made assassin stilettos. I've made Uwara. Made all kinds of stuff out of these. This wood. It's great stuff. But if you got any questions for me this morning, feel free to put those in the chat. I will gladly answer them. Take my glasses off. I have horrible eyesight, so I'm constantly taking my glasses on and off. Sorry about that. Also, I probably look tired as shit. I stayed up too late last night. I always do on Saturdays. Even though I know I gotta wake up at like 5:30 in the morning on Sunday, I can't. It's the only night of the week I really stay up late, and I don't even stay up that late. But 11 o'clock is late when you gotta wake up at 5:30 a.m. So I can get over here and get all this stuff finished, because otherwise I lose my Sunday. And I do not want to do that. That's why I do this so early on Sundays. Why does your dog dub his ass on your carpet? Maybe he's got worms. She's got worms. I don't know. Maybe your dog has worms. That's probably, I assume you meant rub his ass on your carpet. That's probably why. When I said if you got any questions for me, that wasn't really what I was expecting, but I'll take it. Sure, why not? Or, you know, maybe your dog just has an itchy ass. It happens to the best of us. Quite possible. Thanks for the question there, Harley. Welcome back, man. That might be too close. There we go. You don't ever want to get too close to the end of your handle when you're doing a handle wrap, especially if you don't have a pommel or anything that holds the wrap in place. because you don't want it to slip. You know, even though it's tight, and it has a friction fit, you know, things happen. So you just don't want it to be so close to the end that it might slip off the end. Because once you lose tension in a friction fit, that's it. Is done. All right, that's one down. Pleasure to have you again, Arlie. What are you up to this morning? What's got you up this early on a Sunday? You working again? I think you were working last time. If I remember right. I may be remembering wrong. My memory's not exactly a steel trap these days. Oh, gosh. Come on, brain. Wake up. Here we go. Now we got a pair of Kamaru Assassin daggers. Again, these are not practice daggers. These are actual stabbies. I know what you're thinking. Like a wood dagger, what kind of damage is a wood dagger going to do? These can do some serious damage. I have impact tested the tips on every set of Kamaru daggers I have made up to now, and they hold up, you guys. Which is surprising to me, as thin as these are, but they hold up. I've tested them against everything from cardboard to fruit, and they hold up. I wouldn't recommend stabbing them against something hard like a wall or plastic or metal or wood or anything like that. But against fleshy stuff, these will do the stabby. But legally, I need to tell you guys, please don't do the stabby with my stuff, okay? Because that would be illegal. So please, do not do the stabby with my stuff. I would appreciate that. No committing of the crimes with my stuff that I sell. No, I need to put that like a disclaimer on all my products. No committing of the crimes with my stuff. I put these up. I got some tung oil projects behind me here. I got to wipe down real quick. I'll still be here. Just you'll be able to see me while I'm doing that. And then we're gonna cord wrap this Maori dagger. I keep selling out of these Maori daggers. And this Gigantor Vampire Hunter stake. It's not really Gigantor, I guess. It's just very long. It's crime time. Darn it, man. I just said, Kit Kat, what's up? Welcome. Josie, I just told you, don't commit the crimes. It's not crime time. What? What's up, Josie? So good to have you. Kit Kats. Oh, I'm so happy you guys are here. Like bongs from the head shop. That's funny. Always a pleasure to have you guys. All right, let's see here. Grab this. All right, no. I need this and this. Actually, no, that needs to go to the dirty pile. Gotta get a new one. All right, so yeah, I tung oiled. A lot of my practice weapons get 2 coats of tung oil. So this is a Musashi ore boken, Musashi ore style boken. This is made out of hickory. Very strong stuff. All of my boken and wasters are guaranteed against breakage for up to a year, unless they're made out of kumru, in which case they're guaranteed up to 5 years against breaking. If you break one of my boken or wasters within a year under normal use, you know, if you go baseball bat them against a telephone pole, I'm not going to replace them, but all you gotta do is send me a picture, tell me how it broke so I can figure out if it's an issue with the wood grain or if it's a problem with the design. And I will send you a replacement free of charge. You do not have to return the old one. You don't have to pay for shipping. All you gotta do is tell me what happened so that I can improve my shop's design and make sure that I'm configuring wood grain. Because sometimes, you know, wood grain's a weird thing. Like this one, for example, you know, this is white ash, which is very strong stuff. This is a short sword waster, but I'm a little concerned. The grain configuration is a little bit, there's a lot of cross grain on this. It is a shorter sword, so it shouldn't affect it, but sometimes things happen. I had a guy just recently break a white ash short sword waster that I made for him. And again, it was a wood grain issue. So, you know, even monkeys fall out of trees. But I've been doing this shop for almost 4 years, and in the entire 4 years, I've only had to replace 2 wasters. So, and the first time was user error, but I took pity on the guy because he was kind of new to sword play and swordcraft. So he was using the sword against an unpadded steel practice dummy made out of steel pipes, which any boken or waster is going to break against. But I tell you what, guys, I'm super excited for this. I got to get the link-free cloth for this one. I had a piece of rosewood that I couldn't really use for anything because it had a couple of cracks in it. So I made a one-of-a-kind Vampire Hunter stake out of this one. It is absolutely gorgeous. This one is going to go up today. It will come with a certificate of authenticity that it is a one-of-a-kind boken from my, or one-of-a-kind boken stake. One-of-a-kind vampire steak from my shop. And yeah, I won't be making another one of these because it's basically made to follow the wood grain. If you can, I know it's hard to see on camera, but it follows the wood grain of this piece of rosewood. Hawaiian rosewood, by the way, is almost like stone. It's extremely dense stuff. You can't say bong on here. Wait, what? You can't say bong on here? Am I gonna get my channel canceled for saying that? My channel gonna get banned on YouTube now. Great, thanks a lot, Kit Kats. But yeah, this one's gonna be awesome. This is gonna go up on the shop later today. And then in a similar vein, I've got 2 more of this year's 2026 limited edition stakes. Every year I choose a stake design and exotic wood that I make a limited edition amount of. And this year, these are them. They're made out of ipe. They have a pommel, bellied handle, conical tip. Last year, they were pau ferro. They had a spiral grind on the handle. Those are all sold out already from last year. I only made a few last year, though. I had a limited amount of pau ferro. I thought I had more of it than I did, and I did not. So this year, we're going with ipe, though. It's an awesome wood. But these will probably be listed on the shop come like the first week of March. Head shop rules of the late 90s, right? Hey, what's up, Outdoor Cam? Good to see you. Thanks for saying hi again. But yeah, I have to make at least 8 of these before I start listing them. And I have made 6. So these get sold in the order in which they were made, by the way. Once I've made the first 8, they get listed. And then after that, I just start making 1 a week until they're all sold out. And until I reach the final number of what I'm going to make for that series. This year, I think I've decided I'm going to make 13 of them just to be spooky dooky. So yeah, we're going to make 13 of these ipe limited edition stakes this year, and then I will never make this combination of wood and design again. Doesn't mean I won't make this type of stake again, but I will not make another ipe in this exact design. That's what, when you're buying it, that's what you get. All right, no, man. The finishing sock. I'm stroking my wood with my finishing sock. That's what I'm doing. Because I can't help but have sexual innuendos in my shop ever. Because I work in a shop with wood and a lot of phallic objects. When you make vampire stakes and practice swords, you find yourself having a lot of stroking your wood jokes and oiling your wood jokes. But yeah, the finishing sock. Yeah, if I have a hole in my sock, those socks go in my finishing rags box back there, or it's actually just a kitty litter container. And I use those to wipe down stuff that I've tongue oiled. I have another box of regular rags that I use for other stuff. All right, let's see. What am I doing next? Oh yeah. So this is a Maori or Tongan style wooden dagger. The Polynesians were real big on wooden daggers. They did not have access to a lot of steel or metal. So wood was what got used. It was usually a very tight cell hardwood. Hawaiian rosewood was very common. This one particular one's made out of ipe. This one, the Tongan and Maori also had a lot of wooden daggers. For some reason, I keep selling out of these. I don't make these super often. I usually make them when I have a cutoff that fits the dimensions, and I do. So I don't know. There's a part of me thinks maybe I should start making them more regularly, but we'll see. They do seem to sell a lot. I don't know why these are so popular. I have a bunch of Hawaiian pahoa daggers that I think are probably a much better design than this Maori Tongan style. I think the issue is the Maori style has a bladed edge on it, and a lot of people seem to like the bladed edges. Whereas the pahoa dagger is specifically a stabby. Like there is no bladed edge. Bladed edge on a wooden knife will do some damage. It helps with insertion on the stab, but it also, you can split skin with a blade on wood. You won't cut, but you will split the skin, so it does cause injury in a way. But I'm a much bigger fan of the pahoa, P-A-H-A-O style dagger that I make. That's a Hawaiian design of dagger. It's definitely beefier than the Maori Tongan style. I first made one of these as a custom order for a guy. He saw a piece in a museum collection and wanted a replica. I do that a lot, where people see stuff in museums, or they'll see stuff at an auction and it's too expensive for them to get. And so they will come to me and ask me if I can make a replica of the thing they can't afford for less. And I can usually. Because obviously my stuff's not antique, so they're not paying antique prices. But I do a lot of museum replica stuff, like especially vampire hunter kits. Like I've had several times where people have found a vampire hunter kit that's too expensive, and they'll take some pictures and send me pictures of the stuff that's in the kit that they want, and I will make replicas, especially the stakes, because I am very obsessed with making vampire stakes. Because as a kid, I really liked, especially in my teens, I really liked vampire hunter movies. I don't say vampire movies, I say vampire hunter movies, because I feel that those are two different genres at this point. Like Sinners, vampire hunter movie, I feel like, because the vampires are the bad guys. And then you have like Twilight, which is definitely a vampire movie. Not necessarily a vampire hunter movie, though, because the vampires aren't really the bad guys. And then you got stuff like The Lost Boys, Monster Squad, Salem's Lot, Children of the Damned. A lot of that kind of stuff. Children of the Damned, actually, I feel like that one is probably one of the most underappreciated vampire movies of the 80s. Like, I really like Children of the Damned. That is a crazy ass vampire movie, and I highly recommend checking it out if you've never seen it. Oh, Buffy, the series or the movie? Oh, the show. Yeah, it's campy as hell, Shozy. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The Master, they definitely went a little over the top with that. Yeah. They jumped the shark, I feel, a little bit with that arc, but yeah, I'm a huge fan of the original Christy Swanson movie, which is also campy as shit. Highly recommend checking it out. Christy Swanson and Luke Perry are in it. I love that movie. I think it's Donald Sutherland is in it, which I love. Donald Sutherland is one of my favorite actors because he has one of those strangest filmographies, I think, of any actor of his caliber, because Donald Sutherland is a damn good actor, but he is not afraid to be silly as shit either. And a lot of his films over the years were just crazy silly stuff that he did, and at the same time he would do stuff where it's like you would think, oh man, this guy deserves an Oscar. Yeah, no, Donald Sutherland's awesome. You guys probably know his son, Kiefer Sutherland. But no, yeah, I love Donald Sutherland. He plays the Watcher, that like trains the Slayer. And the Slayer's played by Christy Swanson, and then she's got this kind of biker cool guy dude that's played by Luke Perry named Pike in the movie. But one of my favorite things about that movie is the variety of vampire stakes that were used. And I think on the show they kind of did that too. You hate the guy that plays Angel, Chelsea? Yeah. He comes, here's an issue I have with some actors. I feel like there are some actors that should have just been models, right? Like they have the look, they have that look of a model. And I don't know that always translates well into an acting career. I get it. Some guys are easy to look at, or ladies are easy to look at, but they can't act. But then, you've got some people like Jensen Ackles, for example, like that dude, he's a very attractive guy, but at the same time, he actually can act. He's a really good actor. And I don't think he gets enough credit for that. I actually went to junior high with Jensen Ackles. We weren't like buddies or anything, but we went to the same junior high at the same time. I hung out with the Dungeons and Dragons and heavy metal crowd. Not really. We weren't really running in the same circles. He hung out more with like the preps and jocks, which is fine. He was always a good guy. Like I can't say anything bad about the dude, but never really. He and I just didn't really run in the same circles. Yeah, he wasn't the worst actor on the show, absolutely. But yeah, there's something about that weird brooding. He always kind of had that brooding face on all the time on Angel and on Buffy. But yeah, not a bad actor necessarily, not the worst actor at all for sure on that show. But yeah, definitely not the best though either. All right, let me put this bad boy up. All right. This here is, again, repurposed wood that I came across. It has a lot of knots and stuff in it, so it didn't really work for much else other than a vampire stake. But sometimes I get wood, and I'm like, I hate to see wood go to waste. I save a lot of wood from destruction in my work. I don't know why I tucked this away like I was done using it, because I need it. But the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer Christy Swanson movie, I also make a lot of replica stakes from the movie. I don't dislike the series, but I do prefer the movie over the series. I think the movie really kind of leaned into that campiness more than the show did. The show took itself a little more seriously. Not too much, but the movie, Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie, I feel like that. Like, my favorite thing, and I think I've talked about this before on here. Actually, I know I have. Like, one of my favorite things about that movie is the versatile use of vampire stakes. At the end of the movie, when the vampires like attack her prom at the end of the movie, and she has this duffel bag and she props it down on a table and opens it up, and it's just full of vampire stakes. And she starts handing them out, and her and the other kids of the school start staking vampires. And what I love is that, like, as she's going through her battles, fighting vampires and making her way to, like, the final boss, her stakes keep becoming more and more improvised. And I love is that, like, basically the bag, it's like she went home and found anything in her house that was made of wood, like chair legs, anything, and just, like, sharpened the tips on all of it. And when she gets to the final boss, she has to fight Paul Rubens' character, whose name I can never remember, Pee Wee Herman, which some people don't even know that is Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman playing that character. But when she goes to stake him, she stakes him with a 12-inch like school ruler that's been sharpened, and he then takes like 5 minutes to die. It's hilarious. And what I even love even more is if you watch the credits of the movie, this is pre-Marvel too, by the way. They have an after credits moment where he like sits back up and is like, oh god, and then he dies. Like it's such a good gag. Improvise, adapt, overcome. That's right. That's right. You got it, Shozy. As a former Marine, they used to drill that into our heads all the time. Improvise, adapt, overcome. And Buffy the Vampire Slayer definitely improvised. Man, her stakes, it was so funny, though. Like, the stuff that she had... And what bothers me about that, I think, that it's in that movie, is that gag got, like, no attention. Like, no one notices it. And I love details in movies where, like, it's something that if they hadn't done it, you wouldn't have noticed it. But when they do it, you either don't notice it, but it makes everything feel, like, more real, or you're like, damn, that was a good detail to add. And when they don't hit you over the head with it, which they don't, which is why a lot of people don't notice it in that movie. Yeah, that's from the, well, I don't know if it's from the Marine Corps. I don't know if they invented it, but they definitely drill it into your head. The improvise, adapt, overcome. That's... Have you ever seen Heartbreak Ridge with Clint Eastwood? He says that a lot. He plays a Marine in that movie who's the new head of the Marine Force Recon, and it's hilarious because, like, in that movie, the Recon Marines are a bunch of shitbirds, which, if you've been in the Marines, you know that, like, Recon Marines are not shitbirds, man. They're not losers. Like, it's weird that Recon is like Marine Corps Special Forces, and these guys are a bunch of freaking morons that he has to, like, train up, which is, it's funny to me because I don't know, maybe the Marines fell off in the 80s, but when I was in, those were not the kind of guys that made it into Force Recon. I actually tried out for Force Recon. I didn't get selected, but I did try out for it. That's always the hard part with stuff like that, because there were like about 3 dozen of us that were up for selection during the indoctrination, and pretty much the indoctrination, what they do is just thrash the shit out of you for an entire day. Like they have you doing basically push-ups, flutter kicks, crunches, jumping jacks. It's just nonstop. They're spraying you with a hose. You're in a puddle of mud. It's just absolutely miserable. And they did that to us until there were only like 2 left, because I think they only had 2 slots. I remember we had this crazy ass Ukrainian kid that showed up. He didn't even want to be in recon. He just wanted to pass the indoc. And like, it came down to where there were like 5 of us, and we're like, dude, why are you still here? He kept going. He didn't end up doing the selection. He didn't make it to the final 2, but he got pretty darn close. I didn't make it to the final 10. I can tell you that much. It was rough, man. They whooped our ass that day. I was sore for a week after that. But no, didn't make it. Didn't get selected. I did get attached out to recon for a little bit as a secondary attachment. That's a whole other thing I don't really feel like explaining, but no, never was in that. All right, got this. So let me ask you guys a question. So this morning I've got some painting I need to do. I went live yesterday. I didn't really plan to. I'm painting up some barbed wire that's for a custom bat order that I'm working on. And I'm going to go I'm going to do my final touch-ups on that after this. I don't know if you guys want to hang around for that, if I should just end my live stream. But let me know if you guys want to watch me paint barbed wire after I'm done here. I'll move you guys over to my painting area, and you guys can hang out with me while I paint barbed wire. Totally up to you. I think it's already going to be a fairly long live stream because I got to do these Nightwing escrima sticks, and those always take a little longer. All right. There we go. Now we got a big old Vampire Hunter long stake. I almost thought about doing a sword blade on this, but it's pretty basic wood, so I didn't think a sword blade would probably be the best idea. All right, put this bad boy up. All right, I gotta clean some things, move some things around here, and I gotta pull out my gigantic spool of blue paracord. Let me get some coffee. I'll set that there. I use a lot of blue paracord in my shop and black paracord, and buying 1,000 feet of it is more cost effective. So I tend to buy large amounts of it when I can, when it's on sale. I'm kind of hoping that the brown or dark walnut paracord goes on sale sometime soon, because I need it too. I need a big spool of those colors, but haven't gone on sale yet. So I think brown paracord is pretty popular because it's used for like camouflage patterns and stuff. All right, let's see if I got enough to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's getting kinked up. 9, 10, 11, 12. Come on, unkink. 13, 14, 15. That's close enough. All right. I just got to do this one more time because otherwise I got to get all the kinks out of it. Otherwise it folds back on itself while you're trying to wrap it. But also, while I'm doing this, you guys be thinking, do you want to watch me paint barbed wire or not? I need to know. I was supposed to laugh between numbers. I know, it's so much more expensive to be poor. It really is. And I've been learning that a lot lately because I'm definitely poorer than I was like a year ago. Like a year ago, you guys, at my day job anyway, you know, I always had the shop, but my day job, I was a marketing copywriter, making about 90K a year, pretty close to 100K, and was going great. And then AI came along, and for the last year that I was at this company, it was basically a condition of my employment that I had to use their AI. And I'd already been using it for a year up to that point, but for the last year, they made me sign a thing that said I would use it, and I did. When they told me that, I said, you know, I'm not training my replacement. They were like, oh, no, of course not. Well, guess what happened, folks? They replaced me with AI. The AI I trained for them. So I decided I was done being a marketing copywriter because I could see the writing on the wall, you know. I knew. I think probably within a year or two, there won't be any marketing copywriting jobs. It's already pretty much like that. The jobs that are out there are either underpaying, or what they want is for you to train their AI. I don't have to stay live just for you, Shozy. I don't care if even one person wants to hang out while I paint. I don't paint very much on camera, so I don't mind doing it. I usually just do small projects, but some people seem to have wanted me to do more of that kind of stuff, so and that's just a little bit of CA to make sure that this stays in place while I'm doing the wrap, because you want the ends of these to be as tight as possible, because these are functional escrima sticks, so I want to make sure that they don't pop off when they're taking impacts. Or they double as striking points and they double as handles. And I don't want it slipping off while someone's gripping it either. I call these are Nightwing inspired because I kind of originally started making these for cosplayers out of oak, but they kind of became more popular with actual Kali escrima practitioners than they did with cosplayers. So I thought, well, rattan is more functional than oak for something that's going to actually be used for striking. So I started making them out of rattan and phased out the oak ones. They're a little more expensive since they're made out of rattan now, but they are functional. And like other training stuff, they're also guaranteed in my shop. Yeah, I know. No one has control of the AI snowball. That's definitely for sure. Good God, man. I'm honestly kind of afraid at this point what's going to happen with it, because it's just they're putting it in everything, and it's not. And here's the thing that bothers me about AI: it's not really AI, you guys. Like what they're calling AI, it's not actually AI. It is a mimic. It's what they've created. It's basically it is a thinking machine in a way, or a learning machine. But what it does, when you ask it for something, it goes back and looks at everything that's ever been done that's similar to the thing you're asking it to make. And then it pretty much creates like a collage of all the stolen information that it has. And then it gives that to you. It's pretty much just really, really good plagiarism is really all AI is. It's plagiarism so good it's almost impossible to tell that it's plagiarism. That's pretty much what you're getting when you use AI. And I know a lot of people don't understand why artists and writers are so upset about it, and it's because that's what it's doing. It's stealing our work and pawning it off as its own, when in fact it hasn't created anything. What it's done, like, is steal from other people's creations and slapped its own name on it, which is pretty much plagiarism. I mean, not pretty much, it is plagiarism. There we go. That's the last one. You know, it's funny though, because it's not the first time I've lost my job to a bot. When I first started my career writing in corporate circles, I was a technical writer. And the bots came for those jobs back in the 20 teens. And I I saw the writing on the wall and was like, I'm going to move over to marketing from technical writing, because I figured marketing was a little safer. I was wrong, because eventually somebody built a better bot. There we go. First one down. 3 more to go. Yeah, you know what? That's kind of my day job. Shows you what you're talking about. You know, taking stuff that's mass produced and kind of unshitifying it. That's a lot of what I do during the week in my day job. We have stuff like that. Like right now, we have this grandfather clock that we're refurbishing. It was damaged due to flooding from a hurricane. It's made out of mostly plywood and veneer. It's a routed plywood frame that has wood veneer over everything. And it's a piece of garbage, to be honest with you, but it did belong to the grandfather of the client. So they very much want to preserve it. So we're having to like go in and put new veneers on everything, and we have to repaint each new veneer, and we have to age it and do a faux finish on it so that it matches the old finish parts of the clock. It's crazy. And we're also doing these cabinets. These people bought an Airbnb, and they want the cabinets to look better. And but they didn't want new cabinets. They just wanted us to make the cabinets look nice. And the cabinets themselves were made out of particle board, which is not great stuff. Well, we painted them up and we sanded them as best we could. Sanding particle board doesn't really do much. So, but yeah, mass-produced stuff. You guys got to remember that here in America, we have this thing called planned obsolescence, right? It behooves a lot of companies when they sell large amounts of products, it behooves them to sell you something that they know is going to break within a certain time frame, that you're going to come back and buy a new one. So they can sell it for cheaper. You're likely going to buy it. It's kind of like what we said earlier about people who are poor. It's more expensive to be poor than it is to be rich, because you buy the cheap stuff, a year or two later, you're buying another one. Whereas rich people can buy a super high quality product that's going to last them, if not a lifetime, it's going to last them decades. So they don't have to replace it nearly as often, and they end up in the long run spending far less money on things than poor people do. You know, think of it like this: you got a rich guy that runs a construction company. He goes out and buys a pair of work boots. He's going to spend anywhere from $500 to $1,000 on work boots, and they're going to be awesome work boots, and they're going to probably last him for decades, if not longer. And then you've got the guys that work for him that are working a minimum wage or less. Sometimes they're going to go out and buy a $90 to $200 set of work boots, and they're going to fall apart within a year. I know, it shows you right, the planned obsolescence soapbox. I'm on it all the time, dude. Like, people will ask when they come to my shop. I've had people kind of send me angry messages like on eBay and stuff about why my things are so expensive. My stuff is expensive because it will last. That's why it's expensive. And not only will it last, it's guaranteed to do so. Like, you can go out and buy a Bokin for 20 bucks. Go ahead, be my guest. Go buy a Bokin for $20. And it will break the first time you really put it to the test. It's going to break, and you're going to buy another one. And probably within 6 months, you'll have bought 3 or 4 Bokin, because if you're really using it, that Bokin's not made to last. And mine are. If you use one of my Bokin and it breaks within a few months, you get a replacement, because it shouldn't break. And yeah, you might pay twice as much for one of my Bokin, but it's going to last 3 times, maybe 6 times as long as a machine cut Bokin. Machine cut Bokin are the biggest ripoff all ever, by the way. They do not check anything on those, by the way, guys. They take a lot of wood. By a lot, I mean like a pallet of wood. They don't look at the wood. They don't look at grain configuration. They don't look for anything. They throw it in a machine that cuts all of it, routes and cuts all of it. It pops out the other side. The stuff that looks good goes in the clear lacquer pile. The stuff that doesn't look good goes in another pile. The good ones get clear lacquered and sold. The ones that don't look good get a black paint job. They use a machine to carve a little dragon into the side of it. They'll put a handle wrap on the handle, and then they'll turn around and sell it to you for like $10 more because it's painted and has a handle wrap, when in fact the wood is shit. If you ever have one of those painted Bokin, I dare you to sand off the paint and see what's underneath. You will not be happy with what you find. I guarantee you'll find wood filler, you'll find knots, you'll find bad grain configurations, and those painted Bokin are just garbage. Now, if you need a cheap wooden sword for a cosplay, they're great. But if you need a Bokin for actual practice that's going to last and do what you need it to do, they are absolute shit. So yeah, it sucks, because I try really hard to keep my prices as low as possible, but there's just no way for me to compete with that. I'm not selling. I don't have an inventory of 1,000 machine cut Bokin. I have an inventory usually of like 2 that I've made at a time. I will sell large numbers of them, but that's usually someone comes to me and says, hey, I need, a dozen Bokin or something like that. That will happen sometimes, and I do bulk orders. But for the most part, when I make practice weapons, I usually, when it's especially Bokin and wasters, I usually only have like 1 or 2 in stock at a time, because I have to make them, and it takes time to make them. And because my wasters and Bokin last so long, I don't actually sell them as often as you would think. Because when people buy my Bokin, they're not going to need another one for a long time. And that is okay. That's what I want. Oh, I know. Craftsman, dude. Oh, Shozy. Craftsman broke my heart When they, because it used to be back in the day when they were like in Sears. I don't know if they still are. I don't even know if Sears is still around, but they had a guarantee. If your tool broke, you brought it back to the Sears, you handed it to the cashier, and you went and got a new one. That was it. There were very few questions asked. I actually worked at a Sears and loss prevention for a while, and that was the thing. You know, they come in, they trade in, they get a new one. Then Craftsman sold to another company. They started manufacturing stuff overseas, for the most part, and they got rid of that guarantee. Craftsman stuff now is absolute shit. It used to be, Craftsman used to be my go-to, because I knew that if the quality wasn't good, I would be able to trade it in. Now I only buy Craftsman if I have no other choice. Here we go. Got one Nightwing escrima stick down. One more to go. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, I bought a Craftsman shop vac a couple years ago, and it died. And I even also got a Craftsman like dust collection system. It was absolute garbage. It didn't even do what it said it would do. It clogged up constantly. It didn't really do the job. So I decided I would buy DeWalt. So I bought a DeWalt shop vac and I bought a DeWalt dust collection system. I've had those for the last 2 years. They're fine. They're as good as they were the day I bought them. When it comes to tools, I go with DeWalt because DeWalt tends to last and it tends to work better. I mean, no. So Josie, what I did, best thing to do is start small. I recommend if you're gonna do Etsy, be very careful. It depends on what you're selling. If you're not selling anything like what I sell, if you're just selling normal stuff, you'll be fine on Etsy. Etsy's really good. eBay's good. Stay away from Shopify. Shopify's garbage. But my recommendation is start with a small inventory. When I started out, I would make like 5 or 6 things a week. I now make about 16, like 10 to 16 things a week. So start out, like, spend a week, build, or a week or two, get like 10 or 12 different items, not just 10 or 12 of one item, and then list those. And that way you've already got people kind of coming to your shop, and then you start building out your inventory from there. It's like I have an inventory right now, I think about 160 something. And that's just the stuff I can list on eBay. I have other stuff that I just can't list on eBay, like war clubs and things like that I sell. But I can't list those on eBay. So if you're interested in war clubs, by the way, hit me up because I do sell those. I've actually got several in stock that I would love to get to somebody that would actually appreciate them. But yeah, but that's my recommendation: is start small. Don't worry about having a huge inventory, because your people are gonna find you if you're selling in a niche like I am. You know, like, it takes a little while. So the sooner you're listing stuff, the better. As long as you've got stuff listed, people are going to start finding you. And it takes a while to build that. So start small with small inventory and then build your inventory over the span of like a year. That's what I did. Eastwing, Channel Lock. Yeah, they're not bad. DeWalt is great, but I understand DeWalt is just, what's the name of the brand? They're the same. Black & Decker and DeWalt are basically the same brand also. So Black & Decker is still pretty good. DeWalt's awesome. Oh, wait, I need to do the adhesive on that. Let's do that first, Nathan. Wake up. But yeah, I recommend DeWalt and Black & Decker. I'm not sponsored by them, by the way. I have less than 500 followers. I'm not sponsored by anybody. But DeWalt's, Black & Decker, great stuff. Craftsman in a pinch is okay. It's not great. It's okay. If you buy Craftsman, prepare to buy a replacement. And then if you are really, really you need something cost effective, like you don't care how long it lasts, you just need something that's going to work for a while. Wen, which is W-E-N. Wen makes okay stuff. Their stuff's not horrible. It's not like Temu awful, or Wish, or whatever cheap ass website people are buying stuff from now. But it's okay quality. I have a Wen air scrubber I have one Wen air scrubber in my shop. When I first started out, I had a Wen belt sander. That was the belt sander I started with, was a Wen belt sander. It was great. I burned the motor up in about a couple of months. And I bought another Wen, and that one burned up in a couple months. So I replaced it with a Skill brand belt sander. That works pretty well. And I also have a Facebook Marketplace special, like 11 amp belt sander that I reserve for large projects. That thing is powerful as shit. Oh, Milwaukee's good too. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, Sawzall's good. Milwaukee's a good brand. I don't have issues with Milwaukee. You don't see it much down here in Florida. You do every now and then, but DeWalt's, Black and Decker, Milwaukee, more or less just stay away from Craftsman and Wen unless you just need something that's going to work. Like if you're doing a weekend project and you know this is something you're probably going to use once and then sell on Facebook Marketplace, go with Wen, go with Craftsman. That's fine. The only thing I have in my shop that's still Craftsman is my table saw, because my table saw, and unlike a lot of shops, I don't do a lot of sheet cutting. I don't cut like huge boards or anything very often. So I don't need a great table saw. I just need a spinning blade. And my Craftsman table saw, the fence on it is shit. The angles and the numbers on most of the parts are not accurate. So I can't really trust it for a lot of things. When if you angle the blade, you have to measure it to make sure it's angled properly, because the actual measure on the machine is not calibrated correctly. But it works. It does what it's supposed to do. So, oh good gracious, I need to cut a new piece, but I gotta get to the end of this. See, this is why I unkink, because I don't know if you guys can see, but it is all like twirled up on me. That's what happens if you don't get all the kinks out, which apparently I didn't get enough kinks out. So I'm going to pull some of this, so hopefully that'll take up some of the kinks in the slack. All right, there we go. Yeah, I don't use DeWalt drills. No, my table saw, it's a job site table saw. It's a mobile table saw. I don't have a lot of room in my shop, so I keep the table saw under my work table, and so I can pick it up, put it on the table, use it, and then put it back under the table when I'm done. I've looked at a DeWalt. DeWalt has a nice job site saw, but I just don't have $400 to spend on one right now, $500 to spend on one. I wish I did. If I did, I'd buy one. But the shop I'm moving into, I'm supposed to be moving into a shop sometime in the next few months. I have another shop that I work with during the week, and they have some space they want to rent to me, and it's about half, probably going to cost about half what this shop is costing me, and I have the same amount of space. They're going to let me use some of their tools, which means I can get rid of some of my stuff. Because right now, after I got kicked off at Etsy, my shop has not been doing great financially. It's not really paying for itself anymore, which it was for years. My shop was paying for itself. When I expanded to this shop, my shop was selling about $3,000 to $4,000 a month in inventory, which is more than enough. I'm not looking to get rich doing this. I just want the shop to pay for itself because it's kind of my stress relief. And then when Etsy kicked me off, it really screwed up my income stream for the shop. The shop very rarely sells over $1,000 a month anymore. So I've really got to reduce my costs and my rents, Wi-Fi, all that stuff, electricity. Over here, it's just a lot. And over there, they're just charging me a flat rate every month for the electricity. And my rent's about half what this is. So that should reduce my costs a lot. Hopefully get me back to where at least $1,000 a month is paying for the shop. The shop's not costing me money. Yeah, I know. Cheap rent, new tools. Like, yeah, there's no downside to it. The only thing that sucks is that like when they offered it to me, I had just signed I just renewed my lease for this shop. And so now I'm dealing with the landlords because I need to get out of here. But the landlord's got to find another renter before I can get out of here. So that's kind of what's taking up the time. or I have to pay out like I think it's a little over $4,000 I have to pay out in fees and stuff for breaking my lease, which I don't have. So at this point, I just gotta wait until they find another renter so I can get out of here and move into that shop. But that shop, they're good people. It's my boss and some people with him, so they're gonna hold my space for me until I can get out of here. And it'll be nice too, because it's literally in the same building that I'm going to be working in, because my boss is moving to that shop as well. They're building out a brand new facility, so I will be moving into a brand new space with him. He'll have his shop in one area, but it'll just be the same setup here, where I'll be, I'll be able to do my shop in the same building that I have my day job in, which is really nice, because it makes it where I can do this shop and not really have a lot of issues with time driving from shop to shop. All right, there we go. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, I gotta go over it again to get the kinks out. Sorry, guys, because like you saw earlier, it will twist up on me if I don't get more of these kinks out. Unwind, you little bastard. As you can see, it starts winding tighter and tighter as I get to the end. So I just gotta kind of untwist and keep going. I'm sure there's a less time-consuming way to do this, but I haven't figured that out yet. So flat electric rate. Oh, no. The only reason I get a flat electric rate is because they know what I'm doing in their shop, and I'm mostly using their tools, so they kind of know what their electricity costs are going to be. Oh, I know, with a flat electric rate, yeah. But if I was doing something like that, where I was eating, like if their electric bill started going up, I'm sure I would hear about it. I'm sure I would hear from them very quickly if like suddenly their electric bill's gone up by $100-200 a month. They'd be like, "Hey, what the hell are you doing? We're only charging you $50 a month in electricity. What are you doing over there?" And I'd be like, "Nothing. I'm definitely not doing an illegal weed operation." If that's what you're thinking. Yeah, I figured you meant flat. I speak fluent typo. Or I read it anyway. I guess you can't speak typo. You can read typo. Oh, I gotta make sure I clean that tip. Always clean your tip. Nothing worse than a dirty tip. Oh, God. Why? I can't help it. I promise I'm not trying to be dirty. Yeah. They'd be like, "Hey, we got this huge bill. You know anything about this $400 electric bill we got?" And they're like, "Oh, no. No, nothing. I'm definitely not doing anything illegal over here." No. They know what I'm going to be doing in my shop. That's the thing, is I work in this shop, and my boss, he and I share the same meter, so I pay him my percentage of the electric bill. So they know about what I tend to use. And $50 a month is, I would say, about correct. I use a lot of hand tools, and the main things that I use in my shop that they use electricity are my air scrubbers and my belt sander and my shop vac and dust collection system, like that stuff. But in the new shop, they'll have a dust collection system. They'll have their own air scrubbers. I might bring mine just in case, but we need them. But they've already got most of that gear over there, so. So I won't even need to really use mine. All right. Oh, man. We're finishing this up. How long have we been on here? 70 minutes? All right. So once I finish this Nightwing stick, I got to run out real quick. I'll be gone for like 3 minutes tops. Then I'll come in and I will get us set up in my painting area. So you guys, here in a minute, feel free to go take a potty break, do whatever. I'll be back. I shouldn't be gone long. I've just got to go grab some stuff that I forgot to get out of my car. And get some air for a minute because it is stuffy in here. We're not running the air conditioner these days because it's been going from hot to cold a lot. And today, it didn't really get cold last night, so it's supposed to get cold again, I think, Monday into Tuesday out here in southern Florida. By cold here, by the way, I just mean below 50. Like, I know that in a lot of places that's not even considered cold. What I do find funny about that, though, is like people come to Florida and go, oh, you guys are such weenies about the cold, right? But we have snowbirds that come here every winter who are from the states of the people who tell us that. And I'm like, well, if you guys are so cool with cold weather, why do you keep coming here in the winter? Fucking up the flow of traffic. Because that's what they do. The snowbirds come here and just fuck up traffic for about 6 months. 4 to 6 months, and then they go home. The snowbirds usually start going home in April. Some of them in June. By summer, they're all gone because then, oh, it's too hot. It's too hot. And actually, the heat here is nothing. It's freaking hotter in Texas than it is here usually in the summers. I'll take a Florida summer over a Texas summer any day. There we go. So now, these are already up for sale. I just needed another set for inventory. I think this will be like the 5th set I think that I've got in stock. So these are your Nightwing inspired escrima sticks. I gotta impact test the tips real quick, make sure everything stays in place. Yep, we are good. All right, give me 1 sec, guys. I gotta put some stuff away over here. And then I gotta step out real quick and I'll be back. And we will do some painting. I'm painting barbed wire today. I've got a custom barbed wire bat that I am making for a client, and she wanted black barbed wire with gold barbs. So the black barbed wire is the easy part. Painting the barbs, not so much. So I did one side of the barbs yesterday. I actually did the majority of the barbs yesterday, I should say. And then today I need to, I need to do touch-ups on the parts that I missed yesterday. Because that poor lady, she's been waiting on that bat almost a month. And I normally don't take this long with bats, but she had a lot of custom elements that she wanted done. She wanted a very specific paint color scheme. She wanted a diamond pattern. Originally, she wanted a checkerboard pattern, but doing a checkerboard pattern on a baseball bat, you guys, holy shit. I couldn't do it. I tried everything I could think of. I watched tutorials. But here's the problem. When you watch tutorials on checkerboard patterns, they're almost always doing it on a flat surface. So taping off a checkerboard pattern on a curved baseball bat that gets narrower as it goes to the handle, it's damn near impossible to get it symmetrical. Because the squares kept getting bigger or smaller as I would go down, or they'd become more narrow. So I did a diamond pattern instead. Diamond pattern looks good. Oh my God, right? The trees explode. I know. I've seen videos of that. It's crazy, especially I think it's in like Texas and places that recently where it doesn't normally get that cold. Yeah, I've seen those trees just like, yeah, because the water inside crystallizes and starts straining the wood grain. But for me, it's kind of a good thing because like that's the kind of wood that I tend to harvest. Is wood that's been usually by trees that were felled naturally in storms and things of that nature. Let me go grab my alcohol wipes here real quick. Because like I love woodworking, but I think a lot of woodworkers forget that if we're not smart about the wood we're using, we're not going to have any wood to work with pretty soon. Because a lot of woods, especially exotic woods, are starting to they're being over harvested, they're being oversold, and they're starting to become endangered, which is why I do my best to only work with exotic woods that either aren't endangered or I can get them from a vendor that ethically harvests all their wood. Those are hard to find, but there are a few. Like they use tree farms, things like that, where they're not going into nature and chopping down forests. And then I reclaim wood from job sites. I work in custom home renovations for rich people for the most part. So a lot of times we are going to homes where they're demolishing an old expensive project to replace with a new expensive project. And you'd be surprised what some of these people use. Like I literally found an entire fence that enclosed like a generator made out of ipe wood, which is ironwood. It's insanely expensive wood. And I cannot believe someone built a fence out of it. And they were going to throw it away because they were replacing a whole section of the fence. They were going to throw away the ipe. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, can I have it? They're like, yeah, absolutely. So I took it. And I got a bunch of ipe wood out of it. Same with the Kummeru wood. It was from a contractor who I know, and they didn't use nearly as much of the wood. It had already been paid for, so he gave it to me for basically cost. And which cost, by cost I mean like cost of shipping. Oh, I know. Rich people trash is the best, right? These people will throw away all kinds of stuff. And what I love, like in my job, I get asked a lot of questions from clients that we have because they have quite a bit of money, and they ask a lot of questions. But I can tell you one question they never ask me, which I always think is odd, is how much is this going to cost? Like they never ask that question, and it's weird to me because like if you're coming into my house and doing and looking at like a cabinet or a door or something or a grandfather clock or something that I want to be restored. As soon as you look at it and tell me what it needs, my immediate next question is going to be, okay, how much is this going to cost me? These people never ask that question. They never ask. They never ask how much it costs. They're just like, okay, go ahead and do that. I'm like, all right, cool. And oddly enough, they never complain when they receive their invoices. From what I can tell, they usually, the only time they'll complain is if they feel like you didn't do it fast enough. But that doesn't happen very often. All right, you guys, like I said, I got to run out real quick. I'll be right back. Hang tight. Sorry about that. Let me go put this up real quick. And I'm gonna move you guys over to my painting area. All right, my children, come with me to a land of pure imagination. Here we go. Whoa, that was fun. I almost died. I almost died. All right, get you guys over here. I'm sure this looks really fun. All right, hang on a sec. Here we go. All right, get you guys adjusted here. Am I funny, Dave? I don't try to be. The Chocolate Man song, yeah? We might be on the same simulator, man. We're probably on the same server for this simulator. So that's probably what it is. Yep. You and me are on the same server, my guy. Oh, shit. Yeah, let me go get my chair. Hang on. Oh, I say chair loosely. Like my chair is literally just a fold-out camping stool with a cushion on it. I really got to get a better chair. When I first moved into this shop, the old chair that I had was way too big for the space, so I just grabbed a camping stool and a cushion, and then I never did anything else and forgot all about it. Chocolate milk. All right. So this is the barbed wire for a custom order that I'm working on for a bat. It's a Kuromi themed barbed wire bat. And I did the majority, as you can see, of the gold on the barbs yesterday, but it was hard for me to see every angle, so I had to move the barbed wire, like flip it and roll it a little bit so I could see the sides that I didn't get yesterday. So we're gonna finish painting this bad boy up. And then this week, hopefully, that bat will get assembled and get off to the customer. Because like I said, that poor girl's been waiting for like a month. I've had to order so much special stuff for this. The one thing that's going to be toughest for me, you guys, is killing me. She wants a velvet or a suede, a purple suede handle wrap, tape wrap on the bat. So I bought suede, and it's purple, but I had to buy it in like a huge long sheet. And what I need is tape to do a handle wrap. So I've got to cut like a 1-inch strip out of it, and we have a paper cutter in the shop that I thought would work. It did not work. It does not cut suede. It just tore it. And so I'm going to have to try something else. Scissors aren't usually great for maintaining a straight line. So I'm going to probably try something like, I'm going to take a razor blade, embed it into like a 2x4 piece in the middle, and then I'll drag the sheet down the blade, and that should cut it straight. Sometimes that works, sometimes it does not. So we're gonna find out. But thanks for the compliment, Dave. I'm glad I'm funny. Oh, good gracious. This is probably one of the more tedious things I have to do in this shop, is paint barbed wire when I have to do this. When I do, like, there was a period there when I got orders for a lot of Hello Kitty barbed wire bats, and I would do white barbed wire with nail polish red enamel on the barbs, and I'd have to go through, and I just bought enamel nail polish and painted each barb with the nail polish. It came out looking good. Man, it just takes a while. It's just itty bitty pieces that, which, by the way, Testors model paint is what I'm using. I'm not sponsored by Testors, obviously. Like I've said before, I've got less than 500 followers. No one's sponsoring me for anything. Sorry, I'm going to be a little out of frame for a minute. Because the barbed wire is too long. And I will interact with the chat as best I can while I'm doing this. So if you got questions, feel free to stick those in the chat. And I will do my best to answer them. That one. That one's okay. Ooh, I didn't get this one at all on this side. Mayonnaise, I think mayonnaise might have been an accident. I don't know. Fabric Craft was just asking an old lady, they're always beyond happy. I might. The Joann's all shut down, so those are hard to find these days. Do the questions have to be related? I don't know. I guess. I don't know. I ain't gonna ask. If I know the answer, I'll answer. But yeah, I don't know if mayonnaise was an on-purpose invention. That's a great question. I don't know. It's like cheese, right? You gotta think, like, cheese had to have been an accident, right? Like somebody was really desperate. They had some milk and that expired, and it was like chunky. And they're like, "Well, I'm so hungry. I'm gonna try to eat this and see what it tastes like." Like there's a lot of stuff I feel like that's that way. Like potatoes, for example. Like who looked at a potato? Because if you ever look at a potato, if you didn't know it was edible, right? Potatoes don't exactly look super appealing as when they come out of the ground. And I always wonder who was the first guy that like dug up a potato and was like, I wonder what this tastes like. And then he tasted it and it tasted like shit because raw potato doesn't taste good. And it was like, you know what? I wonder what would happen if I boil it or cook it. And he did, and it was better. Because you got to wonder about stuff like that. Like how in the hell did someone look at a potato and we're like, oh yeah, man, that's something I want to eat. I think a lot of times, a lot of that kind of food just happened during times of scarcity. Like someone was like, I'm going to try this because I'm going to starve to death if I don't eat something. And they ate it and it didn't kill them. So I feel like that was the main criteria for choosing new foods in the early like human history, like ancient history, was did you eat it and did you live after you ate it and did it taste okay? Is it edible? And will it not kill me? That seemed like a very low bar back in the ancient world, probably. In prehistoric world. I saw a video like years ago where they were kind of joking that like in prehistoric times, it was like they had one guy and his job was to like try things, and then there was a dude with a notebook like writing down which foods kill you and which ones foods don't. Like mushrooms, for example. Holy shit, you guys. How many people died before they figured out which mushrooms were edible? Because most mushrooms are not edible. Cheese was a 100%. Yeah. I need to not die food. Right. Bivalves. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Somebody was starving and was like, I wonder if this is okay. And they ate it. But like mushrooms, when I went to survival school in when I was in the military, and they said that when we had a time when we were going through like figuring out vegetation to eat, and one of the guys in my class is like, well, what about mushrooms? And our survival instructor is like, well, when you're ready to die, he's like, start eating mushrooms, because even people who are like trained experts on mushrooms screw up every now and then, and so you have to really know what you're doing if you're going to try to eat mushrooms in a survival situation. And if you don't, you're just rolling the dice at that point. Like, you're just rolling the dice. You really don't know if the mushroom you're eating is going to, like, some mushrooms you're going to do nothing. Some mushrooms are going to make you see weird shit. Some mushrooms are just going to straight up give you a horrible, painful death. But you don't know which one you're getting. So, yeah, even in survival training that I went through in the military, their advice on mushrooms was don't. Unless you're ready to die, don't start eating mushrooms. They said the same thing about spiders. Tarantulas were the only spider that they said you could eat. They said outside of tarantulas, it's just too hard to know which ones are edible and which ones aren't. Not that I was in a big hurry to eat spiders, but, you know, like we said, starvation situation, beggars can't be choosers, I guess, but. Oh, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I think the cops are here. They've come for me. That dad joke never gets old. Oh, doing the touch-ups is so difficult. There we go. By the way, if you guys see a spot on that side that I miss, that I can't see, and if I go past it and I don't brush over it, feel free to let me know. Because that's the issue with barbed wire, is there's so many little sides to it, especially the barb prongs. You kind of gotta figure out where they're at. Most of the spots I missed should be facing me, but it's always a possibility that I missed something. You guys have a better angle on the camera, so if you see anything, let me know. Just a few more left, people. And then if you guys want, we can do some show and tell at the end here. I can show you guys the bat that this is all going to go to. Ah, crap. I got a piece of debris in my brush. I'm not sure how that happened. It's not like my shop's full of shit. Various debris and sawdust on everything. As the never-ending struggle in my shop is cleaning sawdust. It's never ending. It's on everything. That's why I have a clean room where I keep my inventory, because I cannot keep it in this shop, part of the shop, because there's just way too much sawdust. And of course the last barb is going to give me shit. Luckily, the end barbs are most likely going to get cut off. So, we shall see. All right, I think that's about as good as that's going to get. I'm going to try to clean this brush with an alcohol wipe. We'll see how well that works. Hey, take it easy. You got to go, cops. In what situation are you going to eat spiders, Shozy, when you're starving to death? And that's all that's around? Yeah, you got to definitely work in one direction for sure. That's the thing. Yeah, like, that's why I go from one end to the next, because if I'm jumping from barb to barb, I will miss something for sure. But don't worry, Shozy. I think they passed over. The cops passed over us this time, so that's good. All right. Let's see if I can. Well, this is not really a brush I need to save, but they're super cheap. I think I got like. I basically these are throwaway brushes for the most part. I buy like a huge pack of brushes for like $10. But you know, if I can get another use out of them, I will. They're mostly acrylic handled instead of plastic, so they're not too bad. But I don't like to be wasteful. All right, tell you what, let me move you guys over here so that you're not facing. So I'm not facing the barbed wire. There we go. You can see my super dirty shop. All right. Well, I think that's all my projects. Let me double check real quick. All right, so I did those. The Leonardo. Oh, that's what I need to do. So I'm doing Leonardo katana today. So I'm going to. These are going to be the Suba handguards for the katana, but I need to figure out the center. I've already centered them and drilled holes in the center, but now I've got to get the katana and cut a space for the Suba so that the blades can go into the Suba. But in order to do that, I got to measure some stuff, and I suck at math, so let's do this. So the katana themselves are about 9/10 of a ½ inch. That's a weird measurement. Let's say a ½ inch. A ½ inch and 1 1/4 inches. So, let's see. So this is 3.5 inches. So for a ½ inch, I need to go 3 inches. So that's going to be 1.5 inch. No, that's 1 inch. 1.5 inch. That's where we need to go. And 1.5 inch. That doesn't seem like that came out correct. Let's see. All right. Let's see. That is 1.5 inch. Good gracious. Too much stuff in the way. That is... that is slightly over 1.5 inch, but I shimmied that over, so let's see. So let's come over just a little bit. 1.5, 1.5, 1 1/4. There we go. All right, so that's about as close to the center as I think we're gonna get. Oops, sorry. Didn't mean to hit you guys. So I'm not going to cut these today. I'm just going to measure them. I'll probably cut them this week. So they'll get... I'll use my jigsaw to cut. And then use my Dremel and a file to get those hammered out. This way. But these are Ninja Turtle katanas, so they do need to kind of look a little bit handmade. They don't need to look perfect. They need to look like they were made in a sewer. 1.5, 1.5, 1.25. There we go. 1.25, 1.25. All right. That's about as close to the center as we need to be. I'm going to cut the hole a little larger than the blank because I don't want it to be a super tight fit, because we're going to put plumber's putty into the joint to hold these into place. So once I get these holes cut, these will get painted yellow, as will the end caps for the handles. These will get painted yellow. These are just PVC pipe caps, super easy to find at the hardware store. We're going to prime and paint these yellow so that it looks like the cartoon katana that Leonardo the Ninja Turtle uses from the old school cartoons. Then this will go up here for the top of the handle. This will get a foam wrap and a tape wrap. And then these will get epoxied to the bottom. And we should have a set of con-safe Leonardo Ninja Turtle katana that one of my TMNT cosplayers can do. I've got a group of guys. They're led by this dude Dave Lozano, which, by the way, Dave Lozano, if you haven't followed him, you absolutely should. Davey Lozano he's hilarious. He does Deadpool cosplay. His Deadpool cosplay is probably one of the best I've ever seen. He does Iron Man. His Iron Man suit's amazing. He does Spider-Man. He does the Grinch. The guy's pretty awesome. Probably one of the best cosplayers I know. Also just an awesome dude in general. He's a comedian. Love the guy. He's awesome. He's just a natural performer. But he's got a whole group. They do all 4 Ninja Turtles. So I did his Donatello staff first. Then I did my convention safe nunchucks for his Michelangelo guy. Convention safe Sai for their Raphael. And now there's the last member of their group is their Leonardo. He's been waiting on me to get him a set of con-safe katana. Also, sometimes they do birthday parties and stuff like that, so the katana work out well for them. You just spent 20 on a MAC pinstriping brush. Oh yeah, yeah. Brushes can be expensive. For my shop, I mostly just use chip brushes and throwaway brushes. If I need something really nice, I will get a nice brush, and I'll make sure I clean it and all that stuff. But yeah, brushes are expensive, dude, especially nice ones. Throwaway brushes tend to have like synthetic bristles and things like that. They're not great, but if you want like a really nice brush that's got like, natural horsehair or something like that, yeah, those are not cheap. Those are expensive. 9/10 of 1/2. I know my brain. It's not the new math. It's just I am terrible at math, so I have to think in terms that my brain can understand. So I don't know what 9/10 of 1/2 is, but But that's what it is, which is probably just 9 millimeters. But my brain goes, it's 9/10 of 1/2 inch. It's just 9 millimeters, my guy. But anyway, so yeah, so hopefully, I'm hoping to get these Ninja Turtle Leonardo Katana ready for him by the end of March, so that he will have them for convention season. I need to paint over these blades probably one more time. I'm going to wait until they're fully dry, then I'm going to give them one more coat of the aluminum paint. And one thing I do want to check, though. So these are supposed to have 11-inch handles. So I want to make sure that the paint is definitely reaching the end of where the handle's supposed to be. And yes, it is. I assumed it was, but just always a good thing to measure twice. Just to be safe. Let me put these away. I think I've lost everybody at this point. Is anybody even left? Did we lose everyone? Oh, we got 2 people left. That's awesome. 2 people stuck around. Is there anything you guys want to see before I go, or should we just call it a day on this beautiful Sunday? I got to go home, do laundry. I got to post everything to the shop, all the new stuff to the shop. I have to review a bunch of chapters or a bunch of panels for this book that I'm working on. We're in the final review and editorial phase on this book. It's called The Unknown. It's an illustrated encyclopedia for readers like 8 to 14 on like unsolved mysteries kind of stuff. So I gotta do that. And then at some point today, I'm hoping I get to watch a bad movie, because that's like my one thing. At the end of every week, when I finally finish working, which takes forever, my reward to myself on Sunday is I watch a terrible movie, because I have a weird addiction to terrible cinema. And I haven't figured out what I'm going to watch today. So I'm hoping. Laundry day, right? Yeah. Laundry day is always Sunday. Because that's the thing, man. Like I have, so these work pants that I'm wearing, I probably have about 8 pairs of these, right? Not enough for 2 weeks, but more than enough for 1 week. And so I have to do laundry like every weekend to make sure that I have work pants to wear and work shirts. Like this is my shop shirt for in here, but my work shirts, like I work around paint, it's very hot, so I wear very thin material shirts that are cheap, so that I don't mind throwing them away or using them as rags, because I get paints and tears in my clothes a lot because I work with stuff like barbed wire. Yeah, definitely laundry day. Laundry day. Which, if you've ever seen, oh my God, my brain. It's a Christmas horror movie, and I love it. They made 2 of them. What is it called? Oh my God. In the sequel though, there's a great scene where like this guy's bringing trash out. And this guy goes, laundry day, or trash day. And he comes up and he shoots the guy through the trash can. Yeah, it's non-destructive. It probably destroys my brain a little bit because some of these movies are horrible. But, yeah, it's fun. You know what I watched recently that's really bad? You'd be surprised how often Corey Haim shows up in bad movies. I don't know why. Towards the end of his career, he made a few of them. I watched this movie, Watchers, last weekend, I think, was Watchers. It's based on a Dean Koontz novel, and it's not great. It's really not good. And then I found out they made sequels to it. I don't know how you can have a movie that bombs, and then you're like, you know what we need? We need to do a sequel. Like, the movie did not do well, but somehow they made Watchers 2 and I think at least a Watchers 3. So, I don't know. Garbage day. That's right, Shozy. Garbage day. That was that scene. I cannot remember the name of that movie. Oh my God. That's going to drive me absolutely nuts. I don't know why. My brain keeps saying Santa's Sleigh, but it's not Santa's Sleigh. That's a completely different movie with Stone Cold Steve Austin, I think, is in it, where he plays like a serial killer Santa. It's pretty awesome. I haven't seen that in forever. I need to rewatch that one maybe this coming Christmas. Let me show you guys what I got, though. Check this out. So I was working on a site, and we had a huge bamboo grove. Which bamboo I try to harvest naturally, and dude, you guys, look at the thickness on this bamboo. Like, I am going to be able to make some cool arrowheads and spear tips out of these once they're done seasoning. It's going to take about 3 or 4 months before these are ready for me to use. I just got to lean them up against the wall and let them sit and dry out for the next 3 to 4 months. But by next winter, I think, maybe this middle of summer, I'm going to be able to make some really cool primitive spear tips and primitive arrowheads out of these. It's really hard to find super thick bamboo like that, so at least that's like naturally available. So it makes me super happy when I find stuff like that. You read High Velocity and Door to December by Kuntz. Oh, absolutely, yeah. Stranger Things takes a lot of stuff, I feel like, from like horror novels from the 80s, Stephen King, Kuntz, stuff like that. The thickness, right? It's so thick. It's a thick boy. If you guys want to see, so another one, I failed at this. I did clean up the epoxy a bit, but I'm having a little trouble with right in here. They've got epoxy still between these spikes, so I'm going to try to clean that up. This was a build that I did when I was first learning how to embed spikes, and I got a little nuts with the epoxy and definitely overdid it. So I'm trying to get the epoxy off of this so that I can paint it and get it out of here, because it's been sitting in my shop for like 3 years and I don't really have a need for it. I have my own self-defense stuff for the shop that's not this. Although I do feel like this is the deterrent because it hangs on the wall in my shop. People see this. It's right next to a Jason hockey mask. So I think seeing this in a hockey mask, it's like covered in blood. It's a prop hockey mask. People freak out. We're going to paint some escrima sticks next week. We're going to paint these pink, give them black ends. They're going to look very similar to the Nightwing sticks, only they're going to be pink and black. Going to make a few more of the limited edition stakes. I'm going to make some more Maori daggers. I've got this piece of rosewood that is not really good for much else other than steak. So I think I may cut this up. It's got a lot of nails in it, so I got to get these nails out, which is hard to do with rosewood. So I'm going to cut these up and make some cool one-of-a-kind vampire hunter stakes out of this, because it's just not wood that I can trust for anything else. But I think these are going to look cool. I think I'm going to be able to make some really nice one-of-a-kind stakes out of that. Doing some Yawara. I'm running low on some Crusader swords, so making a Crusader sword. Making a set of Hambo, some Shoto boken, because oddly enough, I keep selling out of Shoto boken, which are like my short boken. I don't know why I sell so many of those. I guess because they're my least expensive ones. I don't know. And then I have a custom order I've been sitting on for a while. I've been trying to plan out. They want a custom stake, a dagger style stake with a bellied handle that's got a certain paint pattern on it. It's supposed to be a checkerboard pattern, which again, I tried a checkerboard pattern on a baseball bat recently. It did not work. So we're going to try doing it on a stake and see if I can do it then. I'm not super confident about it, but we're going to find out. We're going to see. I don't know if it's going to work or not. But we're going to try it. First, I got to shape out the stake. And then, I don't know why I'm doing this. Please don't ask me. But I have this huge piece of kind of crap wood, but it's gigantic. So I'm thinking about making a gigantic vampire hunter like stake weapon thing. It's like 4 feet long. So I'm going to give it like a 14-inch handle. And I'm going to sharpen the tip. And I don't know what else I'm going to do with it. I don't know. But I just want to get out of my shop. There's not much else I can do with it. I was going to make tire thumpers out of it, but I can't sell tire thumpers anymore. And I don't know. It's just not great for like a small steak. It just doesn't make sense. So I thought a gigantic steak, I'll stain it. I think it'll look cool. I'll give it a cool handle wrap. Might put a pommel on the end. I don't know. We're going to find that out. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be working on next week. I'm probably going to make some more Kamaru daggers as well. Blunt tip syringes. What are we talking about? What kind of syringes? Why are you working with syringes? Oh, a comically large axe. Well, that would not be great for an axe. This was originally it wasn't a load bearing post, but it was a post that was in somebody's living room that went floor to ceiling. They wanted it out and replaced because obviously it's an older style It didn't really look modern, so they wanted it out. But I don't know. I'm gonna figure something out to do. It's gonna look weird. I haven't made a gigantic vampire hunting weapon in a while, so I've made two. They've never sold, but I like making them. So, all right, you guys. I'm about to head out. Does anybody want to see anything for show and tell? This is your last chance. I'm gonna get out of here and go do laundry and put stuff on the shop, review some chapters, and maybe watch a bad movie. But I'm hoping I get to watch a bad movie. I really want to. I need to. I need a break. It's been a very work-intensive weekend. Oh, milliliters of solutions. Yeah. I get what you're saying. Oh, yeah, for your douche flute. Making nicotine for your douche flute. I've never heard a vape called a douche flute. I love that. That's hilarious. Yeah, I can see that. I have syringes in my shop, but they don't have needles. They're more like little plastic plunger syringes. I use those when I need to like inject epoxy, because I learned my lesson here that a popsicle stick isn't really the best way to do that. Despite what you've seen on Fortune Fire, it's very difficult to not make a mess when you're just dripping it in using a popsicle stick. So I do have syringes for that now that I do. That's what I use now when I embed spikes. I mix up my epoxy and then I plunge it out and plunge it in. Once again, I end up with a sexual innuendo. I did not mean it. All right, you guys, going once, going twice on the show and tell, and then we're going to call it a day. Let me put some stuff up here and give you guys a chance if you want to see anything. If not, no worries. I will be back on live stream Friday at 4 p.m. for Friday staining, and then I will be back on at 7:30 a.m. every Sunday for Sunday finishing work. I post a finished projects video every Sunday afternoon, usually, unless I forget, which a lot of times I do. I do a finished works video on Sunday. Works in progress for the next week is on Monday. On Wednesday, I show you what works in progress got actually chosen, that I actually finished making, that are going to get sanded. Then on Friday, I do a video for what's going to be stained and painted that week. And then Friday, we do our live stream in the afternoon. And Sunday, we do our finishing work. So if you want to subscribe, that would be awesome. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me this Sunday. I'm going to enjoy that movie, Shozy. Thank you, as always, for hanging out with me, Shozy. I really appreciate it. All you guys that come and hang out with me on Sundays, I love it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I know it's not a lot of you, and I'm cool with it. But I'm just glad I got anybody here to talk to. So thanks again. You guys take care. I'll see you next week. Have a good rest of your weekend.